In front of me is a nether portal. Your average 5x4 rectangle of pure obsidian. In my hand, a pair of flint and steel. But something's off. What's particularly off is that I'm in a Forge 1.12.2 version. I don't usually go into Forge versions for nothing. So why is there a nether portal and a flint and steel rather than some crazy new block or item? Well, if we light the portal, it will become very, very obvious. As you can see, if we look through this portal, you can see the end, or the nether. This is obviously not how Minecraft usually works. That is because the mod I have installed on this Forge 1.12 version is the Better Portals mod. A mod which, as you can see, makes portals better. This idea has been teased a lot, whether it be through commands that make it look like this, or people explaining why it would be a good idea in videos. But this mod, it actually does it. You can throw items through the portal, you can walk through the portal, you can get entities to go through the portal. And that is, well, that's pretty much it. But, of course, there are a lot of cool things you can do with this mod. For example, as you can see, this weird eyeball-looking shape of obsidian, it's a circle, you know, totally Minecraft. If we light it, you could see that the portal actually goes downward. This is not possible in vanilla Minecraft, as a lot of people probably know, but with this mod you can see you can go straight through it. If I go through the portal, up around top, you could see that I could go through the top to the bottom, which leads me into this little room, which I could go up this ladder, and back here. This is particularly cool, not just because it's a downward portal, but because this shows off that the portals can be really any shape. I once built a humongous portal, I'd guess about 50 by 30, and it still worked, albeit very, very laggy, but it worked nevertheless. Now this mod is being updated fairly frequently. For example, just a few versions prior, which was changed a few weeks ago, there was no portal film over it. It was just open space, and you can still do this if you so wish by going into the config file and finding the nether portal opacity and turning that down to 0. Now, not only does it work with big sizes and shapes that have little bits in the middle and stuff, you can also do it with small portals that are just big enough to... Yeah, it's still pretty buggy despite being updated. There we go. You could do it with smaller portals that can fit you. And what I like to do with this is to walk through it like that, and it makes a really cool effect going in between dimensions. Next, if we go over here and I light these two, you can see that we have some Mario pipes from, well, the game. And if we look through here, rather than seeing nether, we can see grass blocks. Well, if we go, oh dear. Again, the mod is pretty laggy. Just a second. There we go. The game is pretty laggy, but if we rather than drop through, fly through, you can see we end up out of this one, the curved one. We went in through here, we came out through here. Usually you can drop through it, but after you play with the mod for a little while in any particular world, it starts to lag a little bit. Oh dear. Well, you know, at least I'm close. Well, likewise, you can fly back up through it and end up here. It's very fun to play around with. Now for the final nether portal demonstration, we'll go over here to this one that has the hoppers in the chest by it. That is not what we're looking at right now. As you can see, if we go through here, we have a piston with a slime block and 3 netherrack blocks attached to that. We also have a dispenser full of netherrack blocks. I'm going to take a few of those. If we go into the overworld, this has to do with the throwing the blocks through the portal. And then throw a block onto the pressure plate, you can see that the piston extends, even though we're not technically in the nether. Now the dispenser is a little bit glitchy, but if sometimes, just like that, it shoots a block that's in the nether into the overworld. It's very cool because you can do many things with the both dimensions being loaded feature, particularly with the redstone aspect. If we go over to the other side, you can see I have a second demonstration here. If we go over here, you can see that we have hoppers with a dropper that lead to more hoppers in the overworld that lead to a chest. If we throw a netherrack block into the nether, God, it's always like not first try. There we go, you saw it go through here and into the hoppers, and now it's in the chest, even though we threw it through the portal into the nether. As you can see, it worked again, and the netherrack block is back with us again. This means that you can do some pretty crazy stuff with transportation of items through the nether. Especially if you build like a small portal like this. That way it's less laggy than a big portal. And less noisy, God. But the Better Portals mod does not only work with nether portals. If we go over here, I'm going to clear my inventory because I don't need anything anymore. Grab some Eyes of Ender, hit this button, we are transported over to the stronghold. If we finish this end portal, you can see, if we look down into it, that you can see directly into the end below. Now because this mod, well, drops you from up above the bedrock portal, you're going to need some slow falling or an elytra, even though, well, you can't really get until you've been to the end. But you're going to need like some slow falling, maybe some water buckets if you're skilled enough at that. But if we drop through, you can see we enter the end and the portal disappears above us so that we can't escape back. Now if we slash kill at E, type equals Ender Dragon. The dragon is killed. For some reason the fog is cleared a bit, and as you can see, we can see back into the demonstration overworld. Unfortunately, as of now, the mod does not work with the gateways, even though I'm fairly certain that it should. Well, that I want it to anyway. So you'll still have to go through it the regular way. But if we go back over to this bedrock portal, fly through it, if we look up as we do it, we can catch a glimpse of the portal back. However, we can't fly through it, unfortunately. We can also go above it and see the bedrock floor, but again, we can't stand on it, because they were not built to be traveled back through. We can still see it and throw items through it, though. If we go down a bit, the portal disappears. Now this doesn't only work with naturally spawning portals. As you can see, I built one underground here. I apparently built it wrong. That's right, I need to place this one like that. You see, it does the same thing. And if we drop through here, we can also drop through here, and we're back up here. Now, if you fall through these portals too fast, it causes some pretty nasty chunk errors, so I'd only recommend going through one at a time. Now, as some final notes on compatibility and such, the portals that this mod is compatible with are the vanilla nether and end portals, the Twilight Forest portal, the Aether portal. Both of those need to be updated to fairly recent versions. And technically the Mechanism teleporter from the Mechanism mod. But that is disabled by default because of some errors with teleportation within the same biome or the same dimension. So if you want that, just like note that it's disabled by default. Now there are some pretty nasty bugs and some pretty nasty, as shown here, some pretty nasty lag after you've been using these in the same world for a while, and some pretty nasty like game-breaking bugs. I've also noticed the game crash a couple of times when I'm not even lighting a portal really. So just be wary of that as well. Unfortunately, you cannot use shaders and this mod at the same time because of some issues that it would cause for the mod developers, so you won't be seeing that anytime soon, unfortunately. So just, again, be careful of that. And something you can do is create sort of like nether tunnels where you place like a portal here and a portal here, and then connect them in the nether. But when I tried that, it did a very similar thing to what happened with the end portal and the chunks not loading. Except it was worse because I was going through a bunch of portals at the same time. Now something cool about this mod is that if I light this and I light this, oh, I can't light that because it's not complete, and then I light this. Let's see, how am I going to do this? If I go around here, I can see this from here. Which is pretty cool because it means that technically you get rotated by portals. Because like this portal's facing this way and this portal's facing this way. If it were normal, I would walk through here and have to turn to be facing like that. But instead I just walk through, something I actually didn't know was possible until just recently. Anyways, I'd be careful about using this mod for too long, and I wouldn't recommend it in survival mode, again because of the pretty game-breaking glitches that it has. Unless you have a pretty good computer, you'd have to restart the game somewhat frequently after quite a while of using it. Another thing is that portals that are big make a lot of noise. Like, way too much noise. Way too much noise. So, it doesn't make the noise of a regular nether portal. Like, look at that. Listen to that. It's like the noise of 3 nether portals combined. But anyways, the mod is still cool nevertheless, and I've played with it, like, way too much. Wait a minute. Whoa, what? It, like, flip-flopped on me. That's cool. But anyways, just some things to be wary of. But anyway, that is basically all I have to show for this mod. There's still a lot you can do, like portals shaped, something like this. But I'll leave most of that for you to explore, because it's a fun mod to just play around with. And don't light portals near other portals, it breaks them. But anyway, that's about all I have to show for this mod. It's an amazing mod, and I would highly recommend checking it out. Link, again, will be in the description. And also be sure to watch out for updates. Oh, and one final thing, there's a lot you can update in the config file, such as, again, the opacity of the portal film over the portal. Like, you could completely remove that, or you can make it, like, the opacity of a regular portal. But I'd recommend setting it to about 0.2, where that's what it's at. 0.3, which is about what it's at now. You can do the same with the end portal, and I'm pretty sure the other portals as well. So if you want, like, to go to the Twilight Forest without having to pass through a film, you can do that. And also how many portals you could see through other portals, etc., etc. But anyway, again, I'd highly recommend giving it a check out. Just, because. And anyway, that's about all I have for you today, and I will see you guys in another video. Goodbye!